Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou weighed in today ahead of their fight tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night, reminder, 8 or 8:30, thereabouts. I want to start the live watch along with Ray Vargas and Nick Ball. All right, because that's going to, nice 3 fight card. That's going to be great. That's when we're hoping to start the live watch along. Looking forward to seeing you all there. We haven't done a watch along since Anthony Joshua's last fight, the day of reckoning, so we're all looking forward to that. This is my final thoughts on this fight and on the card itself. Now, Joshua weighed in at 252 pounds. Now, as I said once, I'll say it again, I don't really like Joshua in the 250s. Right? I prefer him in the 240s, the low 240s preferably. He was 252. He was a pound heavier than he was against Otto Wallin, so it's not detrimental. He's 2 pounds heavier than he was against Hellenius and 3 pounds lighter than he was against Franklin. So maybe Joshua is comfy in 250. I don't know. I would prefer him to see him in the 240s, but the 250s, he's not, going up and down like mad high. You're talking a pound between now and December. It's nothing. It's really nothing. Ngannou weighed in at 272.5 pounds, I believe it was. So essentially, he's nearly 273, which is roughly, it's almost identical to what he weighed in the Fury fight. How many times has Joshua gone into a fight, can you remember, when the opponent has been live, certainly live, which I definitely think Francis Ngannou is, and been 20 pounds heavier, and he looks lean and big and muscly. I'm talking about Ngannou. They both look lean, big and muscly, quite frankly, but Ngannou looks an imposing figure on that scale. He looked intimidating, certainly on the scales. Now, Joshua is experienced as a heavyweight. He's 34 years old. He's been around a long time. He's been pro for over a decade now. He's been there, seen it, done it. He's operated at the highest level. He's lost, but he's come back from those losses. He avenged one of them against Andy Ruiz. He gave a good account of himself against Alexander Usyk in the rematch, just came short. He's been through the mill as a fighter, in terms of, certainly from a mental aspect of boxing. He's been to the top, he's fallen down, he's trying to get back. So he's experienced as a fighter. He's not going to look at Ngannou, I would imagine, and think, he looks big, he's intimidating. He's not going to be like that. He's going to know, right, this guy is going to come in, he's going to come in with a game plan, he's going to come in live, and he is probably going to try and bully me. He's probably going to try and push me back. He's probably going to try and make it a rough affair and make me set a hype. Maybe I'm just going in knowing all that. Certainly Ben Davison will probably go in and definitely think that, because Ben Davison is quite a good tactician in that sense. So Joshua, it's going to be interesting to see the approach he takes. I suspect the first round of this fight is going to be a bit of a cagey affair. It's going to be a bit of a feeling out round. And I don't think there's going to be too much really... I don't think there's going to be really too much going on in the first round or two. It's really going to be after round, say, 3, when we start seeing... A bit like in the Fury fight, where we really start seeing this fight take, we get an idea where we're going with this. Joshua needs to keep it long. He needs to use the jab to head and body and set up the right hand. If he can just keep Ngannou at bay with the jab, look to throw right hands down the pipe, he's got to have success. Simple as. Ngannou has very long arms. He might have success at long range. He might actually make Anthony Joshua have to come in and take a little step in, a half step in, and be able to counter him. But I think Ngannou is going to try and outwork Anthony Joshua. He's going to try and set a high tempo. He's probably going to know that this guy is going to come in a lot more prepared than Fury was. He's not going to see me as, an easy payday, ha ha ha, let's go. He's going to know, actually, this guy can fight, so I need to be prepared. So Ngannou is probably going to have to swap the game plan up a little bit in this fight. He's probably going to have to try and take it to Joshua. He's probably going to have to try and set a high work rate and make Joshua work. And we know, say we don't know, but I've always suspected if you got someone who could take some of Joshua's shots, push him back up against the ropes and make him feel uncomfy. Be very interesting to see how Joshua could react to that. We may very well see it in this fight. I'll come back to that now in a wee bit. In terms of the fight itself, Justice Hooney, Kevin Arena, looking forward to that. Louis Green, Jack McGann, looking forward to that. Chamberlain versus Gavin Gwynn, really looking forward to that. Nicky Ball versus Ray Vargas. They have BoxRec listed as the main event. Obviously, it's not. It was just strange, the height disparity between the two, because, a featherweight, you don't see height differences like this. Ray Vargas is round about 5'7", but By featherweight standards, you could say that's probably tall. By featherweight standards, anyway. There have been some taller, but it's a good size height for a featherweight. Nicky Ball is 5'2". Yeah, 5'2". You see strawweights that are 5'2", like flyweights that are 5'2". You don't see featherweights 5'2". That's what Nicky Ball is. And when I seen the height difference, it was kind of like, oh wow, that it jumps out at you. You're like, that might be tough for Nicky Ball to get through that reach, because Vargas, he's been winning a lot of his. I don't think he's had a stoppage win. I don't think he has since he fought 2016. I think it's been that long. I think he's not had a stoppage since September 2016. Every fight has been a distance fight since then. Yeah, I'd love to see Nicky Ball do it. I am going to pick him to do it, but it's going to be an uphill battle against Ray Vargas. His only real hope is that he's regressed a lot in the last year since that loss, and he's obviously had some other issues as well. So that's what I got to say there. Zhilei Zhang, Joe Parker. Zhilei Zhang, 291. Joe Parker around about 245 thereabouts. I don't have the weights on screen, but he was in around about the high 240s, I think. 291 for the Big Bang Zhilei Zhang. Now, against Joe Joyce, he was 287 last time around. The first time around, he was 278. Bigger's not always better. And 291 on a 40-year-old man. If this fight goes round, this is a 12-rounder. If this goes rounds and Zhilei Zhang starts to slow, that extra weight will not help him. I would have liked to have seen Joe Parker come in a bit lighter, but what did he weigh against Wilder, actually? What did he weigh? He weighed, I suppose you could say it's roughly the same. Yeah, I suppose you could argue, it's roughly the same. But I think Joe Parker, low 240s, 230s, really, ideally, is the best weight for him. But that fight right there, has the weight made me change my pick? No, I'm still going to go with Zhilei Zhang to win the fight on knockout, but an outside bet on points. But it's making me think. I'm not going to lie, it's making me think. It really is. And of course, Joshua Ngannou main event. Has my perception on this fight changed at all since I done my prediction video when I said Joshua on points? No, it hasn't, quite frankly. I still think Joshua's going to win the fight on points. If you get better odds on the knockout, go for it. But I think you should get pretty good odds on points as well. Now, I won't be betting on it, but I'm sure several people will. But you probably get pretty good odds with Paddy Power, someone like that, Bet365 on a point win for Anthony Joshua. I'd be looking at that. I'd be going with that. So yeah, Joshua to win on points. Like I said, I think he'll use his jab. I think he'll keep Zhilei Zhang at range. You bear in mind, if Zhilei Zhang does try and push Joshua up against the ropes, if he does try and make it rough on the inside, Joshua has an inside game. He can throw short, good hooks up close, and he can throw some good uppercuts. But it's really going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting to see if Zhang attacks Joshua's body. If Ngannou attacks Joshua's body, that's going to be real interesting, because if he does, could be real interesting. Because I always felt that if you really want to invest in a long fight, a long distance fight against Joshua, you have to invest in that body. And if you do, I think it'll pay dividends later on. I really genuinely do. Let me know your thoughts. That is my final thoughts on this card. Like I said, Joshua to win the fight on points. Zhang still got him over Parker. Nicky Ball to beat Ray Vargas. Justice Hooney to beat Kevin Arena. That might be a tough fight, though. That might be a tough fight. And I forgot. I completely forgot. Israel Madrimov versus Mahmoud Coravano. If I got that name, there you go. That's going to be an interesting fight in of itself. I like both guys. I would probably lean towards Madrimov, Israel Madrimov, to win. But there was a bit of talk that fight was on, then it was off, then it was on, then it was off. Apparently it's on. And I'm all for that. Let's have it. Let's have it. So, yeah, that's the end of that. No midweek report this week, guys. I just said with the lack of news, and funny enough, it's always the way. As soon as I say I won't do it, we start getting plenty of news, and I start feeling the need to, go and do a video. But in reality, look, I'm leaving it for this week. We'll be back on Sunday review of the week, and I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you. I have another video planned for today, actually, as well, to go tomorrow. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Looking forward to the watch along, lads. We're all looking forward to that. I'll leave it there. Peace. Boxing today, it seems like there's news breaking every single day. There's fights being announced almost every day. Big fights at that.
boxing's in a good place. And sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I find it a little bit difficult at times just to stay on top of everything, between checking Twitter, checking boxing scene, going on BoxRec to see if there's anything announced. There's a lot to look for. There's a lot of platforms you need to go on. And if you look there on screen, you'll see today's sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. They've made an app that does it all for you. Look at that on screen. It shows you where you can get tickets. It gives you all the latest news. It gives you the tail of the tape. It gives you all the card details. It's going to give you details about Fury Usyk. It's going to give you details about Joshua Ngannou. It's also going to have a lot more little things thrown in there as well. The link is in the comment section. It's going to be pinned on this video and more besides soon enough. And not only that, in the comment section, there's also going to be a link, a G-Man promo, which means you can access a little bit more without ads. Now that, to quote Eddie Hearn, is a game changer. Now let's crack on with the video.